Sponsored by Collective Wear, the brand of the brave.
All I ever do is grind.
Oh, Remy, I love our
Hey,
intro. It is
I tell
awesome.
you. Was that on the radio too?
You know what? Maybe.
Hey.
Hey, welcome to Hoy en Dia TV. I'm your host, Yesse Rodriguez, with my co-host.
Remy San Luis.
We have an awesome show, like always, because we like to talk about todo, poco.
That's it.
Every and anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Today's show is about radio.
Yes.
And a little bit of broadcasting, but mainly radio.
Yeah.
The aspect of radio. So, Remy,
Yes. See?
we have some interesting things about radio. We have a special guest too, who's one of the owners of the Sports Shops Radio.
Really?
Yes.
That should be interesting.
But before we get into his interview,
Yes.
let's go. Did you know? Let's
My
see.
favorite part.
Did you
One
know?
of my favorite parts. Here. Okay.
So, Remy,
What?
did you know? Well, let me ask you this: do you know when the radio was first invented?
Well, I want to say it was like 1978 when my grandmother took 2 Dixie cups and a piece of string, and me and my brother got to talk on the radio, kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't believe so. No. It was actually before that. It was in the late 1800s when the actual first signs of radio and even Hertz started to get into the mix. So back in 1885, Henry Hertz proved that electricity can be transmitted into electromagnetic waves. He conducted experiments in sending and receiving the waves during the late 1880s.
Wow.
And so pretty much Hertz, this Henry Hertz, he was the fundamental building block of the radio and ever frequency measurement. And that's how we know him as the Hertz. Yeah.
All right.
Nikola Tesla, you know
Oh.
those cool fancy
Oh,
cars?
he's cool. He's cool.
He is cool, isn't he?
Yeah, he
So
was cool.
Nikola Tesla, he back in 1892 through 1893, wirelessly transmitted electromagnetic energy. He made the first public demonstration of radio in St. Louis in 1893.
No.
Isn't that
Really?
cool? Yeah.
Get out of here.
And so also, in 1884, a year after coming to the U.S., he actually sold his patent rights for his system of altering the current dynamos, transformers, and motors to George Westinghouse.
Wait, the Westinghouse?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah. Ernst Alexanderson, born in Sweden,
Mhm.
he was an inventor who developed the first alternator to make transitions of speech, as opposed to the dots and the dashes and the telegraphs.
Mm-hmm.
It said that this holder of 344 patents virtually invented everything General Electric, or GE, did in the field of AM, FM, and even television.
Whoa.
What did you have? You have something on your
Oh,
end?
jeez. I got so much stuff here. It's not even funny. We got
Okay.
Bell Labs believed in 1920 Force System was actually the first two-way voice-based radio telephone. Interesting, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
Okay.
Reginald Fessenden was a Canadian that spent much of his working life in the U.S., where he developed a way to combine sound and radio carrier waves. First effort was to transmit the signal to a receiver where the carrier wave would be removed and listening could be heard by the original sound, but unfortunately it failed. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, it failed. He tried.
He
but it
tried.
failed.
Give it.
However, in 1906, using Alexanderson's alternator, Fessenden made the first long-range transmission of voice from Brant Rock, MA.
Okay.
So no more of the, Remy,
What?
you there? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Edwin Armstrong, this World War I Army officer, Columbia University engineer, nice, prestigious, eh? And creator of FM radio, invented the regenerative circuit, the first amplifying receiver and reliable continuous wave transmitter, and the that's a fancy word that I'm not going to try to say.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much the means of receiving and converting and amplifying weak, high-frequency electromagnetic waves.
That's deep.
So let me just do this. Let me enlighten people as to why we do this, because a lot of people get caught up in what we see now, but
True.
we don't know. Many of us don't know where it came from.
That's right.
And so here at OND, that's why we like to enlighten people. That's why we have the Did You Know segment, because we want you to be educated.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody does ask you that, or even, let's say if one day you are on a TV show or something, like, hey,
Jeopardy?
they will bring you back and say, yes, I heard that at OND about radio, or
Right.
about whatever it is we talk about here, because we talk about the todo and poco.
Hey, I was in radio once.
Were you?
Yeah, many years actually. Yeah, in the 80s.
Tell me about
South
it.
Florida
I didn't know
radio.
that.
Yeah, I was on. Yeah, I started my career in radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how was
I was in my early 20s,
Okay.
and it was a cool experience, really. I was in a radio station, South Florida Radio, WHYI, which is Y100, South Florida, and it covered from Miami to the Palm Beaches, and it was just one of those cool experiences. I was a late night DJ, party time DJ. It was amazing.
What kind of music did you play?
Top 40. It was like all radio, everything, all hits, We hit it all. And then I went up and down the coast after that. I moved on up and down the coast of Florida and doing radio.
Why did you stop?
Family. I wanted to change a career. I got into TV and stuff like that.
That's cool.
I even worked on a cruise ship once, so I was a DJ on a cruise ship.
See, I knew you were the right co-host. For
Well, yeah, but thank you very much for that.
I knew you were the right one. Let's do that. 1919, shortwave radio is developed. RCA is founded. Do you remember RCA?
Yeah, with the dogs, the two dogs.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
1920, KDKA broadcast the first regular licensed radio broadcast out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So 1920, that's pretty much when the whole radio industry began.
Okay, there you go.
So 1921, RCA starts operating the radio center on Long Island. The American Radio League establishes contact via shortwave radio with Paul Godley in Scotland, proving that shortwave radio can be used for long-distance communication. So that's pretty much when we started leaving the premises and going overseas, because in Scotland,
Right,
that's really
and they could talk to each other,
Uh-huh.
almost like a ham radio thing.
That's pretty cool. 1928, a radio station in NYC, WRNY, begins to broadcast television shows.
In 1935, FM radio was born.
FM radio!
But only in monotone. Only in mono. So that therefore it
Really?
wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't.
Is a house on in the Remy?
It was only in mono. Yeah. And wait. In October 10th, 1941, Columbia University Radio Club opens.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What happened in 1945?
Okay. Can I do it in my normal voice now? Okay. In 1945,
I'm having too much
television is born. In 1945, television came to fruition, and FM is moved from the original home of 42-50 megahertz to 88.108 megahertz to make a room for TV. So I guess they shared the frequency line of that. So yeah,
That's interesting.
this is such a cool
This is
topic.
cool. Let's see what happens next. 1946, there are 6 TV stations in the nation. What happened in 1952 with Sony?
In 1952, Sony offers a miniature transistor radio. This is one of the first mass-produced consumer AM/FM radios. In 1953, advertising is accepted on WCBM AM.
1954, the number of radio receivers in the world exceeds the number of newspapers printed daily.
Okay.
Wow, okay. 1956, WCBN hosts the first National Association of College Broadcasters. Ooh, okay.
Oh, that's cool.
What happened in 1961?
1961, we have FCC approves FM stereo broadcasting, which spurs FM development.
You know what's funny? Every time I hear FCC, I think about Eminem. Well, the FCC won't let me be.
Well, you know what I think of when I hear FCC?
What?
I think of talk radio and shock jocks and stuff like that, and they're always getting in trouble with FCC
Really?
with their licenses and stuff because
How do people get in trouble?
they're using either profanity or talking, saying smack about stuff, and
Did you ever
it's
get
not
in trouble?
me, no.
I'm just asking. You said you were
Don't be
radio.
crazy. Don't be crazy. No, I was a good boy.
Where are you, Remy?
Yeah.
Where are you? Okay. I believe you. All right. So, 1971, FM plans are finalized for WCBN.
Okay,
1978.
1978, disco. Okay. U-M President, UNM, was it UNM? U-M President Reuben Fleming urges the WCBN should be used for only educational purposes, restricted only for students only. Okay. So that was
1980, CBN plays It's My Party by Leslie Groove for 18 hours straight, the day
Ooh.
after Reagan is elected.
1993, in the U.S., FM radio stations begin to use the RDS already in place in Europe.
And the rest is history. Now here we are today. There's so much more that we can talk about from 2003 all the way now to 2019. That's we've grown a lot.
And just think, this broadcast, it would be going around the world, you know, because of digital and stuff.
So for those watching this, you can imagine if it weren't for these people that we mentioned, we wouldn't have the technology that we have today.
Nope.
We wouldn't be able to communicate with a
Cell
loved
phones.
one that lives in Paris or a loved
Right.
one that lives in Barcelona or a loved one that lives across the nation. So that's why we wanted to share this with you, because these are the pioneers of what makes it possible.
I mean, it wasn't my grandmother. She was a pioneer, I swear. She knew David Crockett.
Your grandmother helped. You know, think about it this way. Your grandmother helped you become acquainted. with
Yeah, there you
She
go.
was your pioneer,
There you go.
see?
She was my pioneer. That's
there
right.
There you go. But
God bless her.
so it's important for us to know the roots, whether it be radio or whatever, even trace back to your roots, see where you came from and how you came into the world, right?
That's it.
But hey, let's take a quick break. We're gonna come back with our special guest from Sports Shop Radio, KMac.
KMac is awesome.
Yes,
Can't
so
wait to
stay
see him.
tuned. We'll be right back with Oyendia TV. We are back with Oyendia TV. Thank you all for tuning in and being with us. We really appreciate your support. You all rock. I'm your host, Yesse Rodriguez, with my co-host.
Remy San Luis.
And we have our special guest.
KMac from the Sports Shop. How you doing, guys?
Yes, KMac, thank you so much for being
It's a
here.
pleasure
with us.
it's a
We
pleasure being here.
appreciate it. Yes.
It's a pleasure being here.
And so you are just super talented and so funny on the radio, and I'm always so honored to be able to be partake with you.
You
in
know what?
this.
You're a brightness in our day. You know, you'd be
Aw.
surprised when you have to get up as early completely. Just see this beautiful face coming in.
Aw,
It makes it all
you're
worthwhile.
So
Sure does.
sweet. You're so sweet.
You gotta suck up.
But
She's
we
the ray of
always-
sunshine,
You
right?
gotta suck up. You know,
Yeah,
look,
I'm very
it's,
sunshine. I gotta
it's
say
a
that.
process. It's a process. It's a process.
I will say, I just try to stay uplifting and motivating because
There you
we
go.
live
Good
in an
job.
unusual world,
There you go.
But you know about living in an unusual world because
do.
you had a little bit of several career changes from what you were telling me, right?
Right.
So let's dive in. Let's start getting you know more you in a personal level.
Okay.
Get
All
to
right.
know
Okay.
you more.
So,
okay?
you know, like you guys already know, I'm one of the co-host of the Sports Shop. The Sports Shop with Reese and KMac. I'm KMac.
Okay.
And Earl Reese is my other co-host. And we have a morning drive sports talk show right here locally in the Raleigh-Durham area on WRL Sports Fan. WRL Sports.
Awesome.
So, you know, it started about 7 years ago.
Okay.
About 7 years ago, we started. It's a unique story. We could probably get into that a little
Wait,
bit
but let's
later.
pause.
Yeah.
Yep.
Before you spill all the juice, let's rewind it
All the way back?
all the
Take
way
it all
All
back.
the way back.
Wayback Machine.
Let's take it
All
all
the
the
way
way back to how it started. So, where are you from? Where were you born?
Well, I'm from Laurel, Mississippi.
Oh.
I am from Mississippi, born and raised, the Pine Belt, as we call it, southern Mississippi, and I've been living in North Carolina for almost 24 years now.
Okay.
Wow.
Almost 24 years now.
So, how was the life in Mississippi?
Life was great. Life was great in Mississippi. I grew up somewhat middle class. Of course, the African American neighborhood. You know, some people, you know, they talk about what it's like growing up in Mississippi. I didn't work on a farm, and I didn't do all of those things. My grandmother was the first African American female to own her own insurance firm in the state of Mississippi.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep. We grew up. We had a number of convenience stores growing up, and I tell a story all the time. Me and my brothers, we were working before we knew it was actually work. Before we knew it was actually work. I can remember early stories where my grandfather would get off. You know, he worked at the plant. He would get off and come on during the summer, of course. He would come pick us up, and we would load the lawnmowers in the truck, and he would drop us off at, say, a church or someone's house and say, "Make sure you guys cut the grass." We're like, "Okay, all right." Cut the grass. So, you know, we did that. We did that for a couple of summers. We did that for a while. Of course, we worked in the convenience stores, and you know, depending on the day, if an employee didn't show up, my mother would say, Go close the store, hop on my bike, and I ride up to the store, and I man the cash register at the store for a couple of hours.
That's cool.
So,
That's amazing.
so yeah, growing up in Mississippi was a little different. I went to a private Catholic school, so it was a unique experience.
I bet
to
it
say the
was.
least. So yeah, that's That's my early childhood.
Okay.
Right,
My
So,
early childhood.
so what was your first career after graduating high school and starting?
Yeah,
the
well,
life?
I mean, went to college. I went to college. I thought I was going to be a financial genius.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And I quickly realized that just having a finance degree really meant you could work in a bank. That's really what it meant. It meant you could work in a bank. And I was like, I don't really like this that much. This is not the. And my uncle, who was at the time was in the military, as a command sergeant major in the military, in the Army, in the United States Army, said, I think you should, you have a good chance going to the Army. And I said, well, why would I do that? He said, because I think it'll be a good career choice. It'll be good for you. I said, well, I don't know, we'll see. And we talked for a while, and it took about a year process
Yeah.
for us to find the right niche for me.
Okay. Okay.
And then at that point, he convinced me that I could go back and I could go to the military, and they would pay for me to go to school again and get another degree.
That's awesome.
And give me
That's
more
great.
money, and
Yeah.
and set
That's
me up for a
great.
career after the fact. So it was wonderful.
So then what happened from there?
Well,
I think we all want to know.
well,
Yeah, I think
so this is when it started to get a little
yeah.
interesting. This is when I call myself quote unquote a grown up.
Okay. So you put your man pants on.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
grown up
Like
at that point.
young
Yep.
boy pants on. Put
Yep.
my man pants on. Okay.
So then I joined the United States Army, which was one of the better choices I ever made in my life. And from there, I decided that one of the things I wanted to do was be in a unique field. And I started in technology.
Okay.
So I did technology in the Army. That's all. That's from the time I joined, that's what I did. And I was recruited to work for the White House Communications Agency.
Whoa.
That's
in the
awesome.
in the intelligence
That's
branch.
amazing.
Wow.
So-
and how was that experience?
That experience was really, really great. Got a chance to travel the world. Got a chance to go to every continent.
Did you meet the president too?
I worked for the president.
Oh, you.
Which
well,
one?
Yeah,
yes.
I worked for the president. I worked for President
I don't know if you
Clinton.
can say. Can
Yeah,
you say?
I worked for
Okay.
President Clinton and President Bush.
No kidding.
So that was nice. That was fun.
Awesome.
And so we had a good
Wow.
time. I worked for NATO for 3 years, and I lived in Belgium for 3 years. So I lived in Belgium for 3 years in NATO, and supporting NATO headquarters. So I got an opportunity to live abroad. I
See
lived
the
in
world.
Korea, of course. I lived in a couple other places, but
Wow.
yeah, it was a very, very interesting career. And some people said, well, you should have done that forever. No, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, uh,
It gets old, right?
Yeah.
It gets old. Yeah.
Well, it gets old, but also, I had, I'll tell you a funny story. I had a guy that worked for me, and he was actually transitioning. He was getting out of the military. And one of the things we do is we assist, soldiers, the people that work for us, in getting out. So
Okay.
we kind of go through and shadow the process with them, just to make
Wow.
sure that even the process is being fair
Yeah.
to some of the younger soldiers and people that work for you. And after going through the process, he putting his resume together, doing all these little things, and he would go to these job fairs, and he would come back and say, "Chief, you got to do the same thing." I say, "Well, how would I ever? For what?" He said, "I'm telling you, these people they would love you." I said, "No, I would never do that." So one time I actually went out, I had my resume, and I went out to a job fair, and I think I had 22 job offers the same day.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So
Wow.
That's cool.
because some of it is skill set that you
Right.
can't get anywhere else.
That's true.
Right.
So I had an opportunity to take advantage of that. And I was recruited by MCI to come to North Carolina,
And
which
so,
then became, WorldCom, which then became this, now it's Verizon.
Yeah.
oh, look at that. So MCI
he was here in the
equates
beginning.
to Verizon.
That's right.
Look
Yeah.
at that.
That's right.
And so I'm curious, because you mentioned Belgium. How was life in Belgium? How was it at that time?
Yeah.
Because
Life
I've never
was
been
really-
to Belgium, and I would love to know.
living in Belgium, I live right outside of Brussels, and it was really, really unique. I mean, it was really unique. It was a wonderful experience. Having an opportunity to live in another country and just kind of taking in Europe, because I lived in Asia.
Okay.
Then living in Europe.
That is so cool.
It's
You've been
completely
everywhere.
different,
Yeah.
right? But having an opportunity to take that in and be a part of that was really, really, enriching for me.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was fun. It was fun to be a part of that. That's why I learned how to speak French. I don't speak as well as I used to, but that's when you learn how to really immerse yourself in other cultures and other places. And I think it was a great experience.
That's awesome. So did you do anything special or particular to kind of prep yourself to be able to know Because coming from the U.S. is very different, different culture overall. So did you do anything to prep yourself to say, hey, okay, now I'm going to live in Belgium for a little bit. I want to make sure I'm adapting to their culture because I don't want to offend anybody.
No.
Right? Or
Right.
even in Asia.
So
I mean, how was that prep process?
Well, it's not necessarily a prep process.
Okay.
It's really just a learning. We call it, being on the economy. We call it the economy. Military we did, but it's just learning little pieces, right? You learn little things like food, how to order food, and where you go, and then what stores are, and what different stores carry,
Right.
Okay.
Where you go. So it's just little things like that where you really start to figure it out, and then pretty soon it's people are people.
Right.
People are
Right.
people, and the rest of it takes care of itself.
Okay, awesome.
So one of the experiences that I had, I am I would call myself a Scotch aficionado.
Okay.
I'm really not, but I call myself one anyway. But it's a lot of like jazz bars and places in Brussels, and that you could just visit and just be a part of. So I go visit one time, and I'm there, and I'm just in the back. It's a small place, and the guy was like, a friend of mine stopped by. I'm gonna give her an opportunity to come out and sing tonight. This is gonna be great. So I'm
Right.
thinking. I'm thinking it's Tuesday night karaoke. I'm thinking, like, who is this that's going to come out? And they turn the stage lights down. They put them out, put a stool out on the stage. Lady comes out, takes her shoes off, and then the lights come up, and she starts singing. And I'm thinking, that voice sounds very familiar.
Right.
Oh.
Sade.
Really?
Absolutely.
Sade.
I love her.
Sade sitting
I
right
love
there, just
her.
singing, just hung
Wow.
out. I mean, there was maybe 8 people in the whole place.
Wow, that is the cool story.
So little things like
Yeah.
that you get a chance to experience. Just being, just being in other countries and just
That's amazing.
getting a chance to experience that kind of stuff was just wonderful. So that's
Cool.
kind of how my life was a while.
Okay, well, we're actually going to go on a quick break.
Okay.
But we're going to be still interviewing.
They want me to come back? You want me to come back?
Of course
I'll
we
come
do.
back. Yeah.
Don't go anywhere.
Okay, I'll come back.
If you all don't go anywhere, we're going to be right back with OANDX TV.
Sponsored by Collective Wear, the brand of the brave.
All I ever do is grind.
We are back. Estamos de regreso con Hoy en Día TV. I'm your host, Yesse Rodriguez, with my co-host.
Remy San Luis.
And our special guest, KMac from the Sports Shop Radio.
What's up, people?
Yes. KMac, you have an awesome story thus far, and I know the viewers want to hear more, because I want to hear more.
Yes.
And Remy.
Okay, I gotta ask Sade. Okay,
Yes.
did you get to talk to her? Did you get a picture or something? Did you?
So, as you can imagine,
Okay,
this is the age of no cell phone.
okay,
This is
right,
the age of no text.
right.
This is the age of, no camera phone, no social media.
Oh man.
I know it's hard to believe I'm aging myself. None of these things existed. None of these things existed in 1988.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
1988.
Yeah, so none of
Wow.
these things existed.
Okay.
So
Right.
that gives you an idea of how long ago
Yeah.
it was. But what reality was, she just came in, she hung out, and she just got a chance to just sing,
Yeah.
enjoy herself. She said thank you, and that was it.
Wow.
It was only about 8 people in the entire place.
That's a private show.
Yeah, we was just
That's
all kind of
awesome.
sitting around, spread out a little bit. It was about 8 people in the entire show. That was it.
That was like wow.
That's awesome.
That's
So,
an amazing story.
That is an amazing story.
That
Did
is.
you meet anybody else, or was there anybody in?
No, not really.
Well, you
I
met
mean,
the presidents, I guess. So that's pretty cool.
Wow, that's really cool.
That was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool, but you just kind of get used to it, But
Yeah.
now since I've been doing media, I've met tons of people,
Right.
and but what I realized early on, especially when I got a chance to work in the White House,
Uh-huh.
meet representatives, politicians,
Right.
generals, etc. We're all just people.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. of course.
Absolutely.
We're all just people living our lives with different experiences, different perspectives on things.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're all just people.
That's
You're
right.
right. Good point. And I'm glad you mentioned that. And so, MCI,
Yes,
aka Verizon now.
that's right.
What happened there? What did you do with them?
So it was just starting up, 1995.
Mm-hmm.
It was a brand new center.
Okay, okay.
Starting up here in the tech boom, as they call it. And
Nice.
so, IBM was here. They had a foothold.
Right.
And companies like MCI and Cisco and Nortel and others started saying we need to move here too. Hence the RTP.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Great.
So it's hence the RTP. And once that started, we moved here, opened up an operations center. We started with about I would say 9 to 10 customers that we would manage all of their infrastructure.
Okay.
And when I left 22 years later, we had about 8,000 customers.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So it was amazing growth. I worked there for 22 years, like I said. It was a wonderful experience, a great experience. Moving all the way up, to executive management. So being a part of the executive management team for a while was a highlight of my career toward the end. So
Nice.
That sounds
nice.
very, yes.
Nice.
That's
So,
awesome.
it was good stuff.
Kudos to you.
So I was, but I was also part of what they call the tech bust.
Oh, whoa.
Okay.
Why is it called
What's
the tech
that?
bubble?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, so a lot of you don't know a lot of the .coms
Yeah.
went under, and that's when WorldCom we were purchased by WorldCom. They went through bankruptcy.
Okay.
So one day we were worth X amount of money, the next day we were worth nothing.
Oh wow.
In one day.
Wow.
So deflated.
In one day.
In one day I went from being worth about $8 to $10 million to nothing by the time I got home.
Oh my
wow.
goodness.
That's something else.
So is that what motivated you to do a career change and do
No.
what you're doing now?
I did. I mean, a career. That's the thing. I did weekends we did the show on the weekends for like 4 years, 5 years.
Oh,
You did?
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just did it on Saturday mornings for 4 or 5 years.
The sports shop.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And so at what point in the sports shop's lifespan or career or however, whatever fancy terminology I want to use there, they start vamping up where it says now it's Monday through Friday?
Yeah, so about
Morning.
3 years ago they said, would you guys like to do morning drive? And then we said, sure.
Oh, there you
More than
go.
happy to.
Yeah.
We said morning drive, and then we did it 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Amazing.
Doing morning drive, sports radio, 5
And
days a week.
so, out of all the radio,
And then at that point I decided to retire.
Right.
you're like, yeah, no, it's time for me to retire.
Yeah.
So, with all the radio shows going on now, what makes the sports shop radio so unique and different?
First and foremost, we're two African American men that own and host our morning drive sports talk show during drive time. If not the only, maybe one or two in the country,
That's amazing.
right?
Yeah,
So there's other
wonderful.
shows that are hosted by African Americans, other shows that are owned by African Americans, but very few are owned, hosted, and doing morning drive in a market like we're doing.
Right.
Right. And so that itself is very unique.
Yes, it is.
It
That's
is.
something that's not really done quite a bit. And one of the cornerstones of our show is that we want to be unique and authentic. Right? We want to keep it fun, it's energetic.
Keep it
it's
fresh.
unique.
Yeah.
We're not shock jocks.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not out there digging for the story behind the story. We are, but we're not, right?
Right.
Because the story I want to tell is a story about the athlete that feels a little different. The athlete that's he's nervous before a game just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? He has a great day just like, he has a bad day just like me. But I want him to be himself and tell us the story that they want to tell. And we want to keep it fun. So
Yeah.
that, early on, we decided who we wanted to be. And we say, if you want to buy us, this is what you buy.
Right.
If this is not what you want to buy, it's okay, because we're still good. We're still us.
Right.
Because we've had success in other areas of our lives. So I'm not necessarily defined by, trying to make you feel like I can dig into some story or something. I'm just as authentic. What we're doing today, right now, you get this on our show.
That's awesome.
That is
I
awesome.
can tell.
Yeah,
we
that's
had the
great.
same.
That's-
Yes, I'll tell you.
Oh,
We had
yeah.
the same. We'll have a conversation on our show about anything we
Right.
want to,
Yeah.
and it's just real life conversation that we like to have. So
Yeah.
that's the premise of it.
And
Wait, whoa, why are we taking shots at his attire? What's wrong with that?
You know, he had a crop top on.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Well, I just, I had a problem with it. It just looked odd. And he
Just in general, you don't like crop tops?
not on man. No.
What's wrong
I mean,
with a crop top
it
on a
just-
man?
It just looked odd. I'm just really not interested in seeing grown man belly button. You know.
Why? What's wrong with the grown man's belly button?
Probably not much for you, but probably a lot for me.
Just in general, you have.
Yeah, well, that's I always insist that you receive. I receive my flowers and my candy. I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm gonna put in my 2 cents now.
Go ahead and put your 2 cents in, Jay.
You know what? It's not about going out to eat. It's not about the gifts. It's about spending QT time together, quality time.
I love that solution.
No, and I say this is why I love it.
Matter of fact, my bank account does too.
But this is why I say it. A lot of us work so much that we have minimal time with our significant others.
So I'm just curious, KMac, why is sports radio? Like, what sports radio? Like, how did the whole idea come about to have a sports radio?
So, Reese and I, we manage a cigar shop. Everything we do kind of revolves around a cigar shop.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
And when we met, we were doing some business together, some IT consulting, some other stuff, because he has his own IT firm as well, software company as well. Mm-hmm. And we were doing some things together. We worked on the North Carolina program, which was a basketball league during the summer, where pro athletes would come back and play with up and coming college athletes. Wow. Some one and done, some first rounders. And they would play in this basketball league over in North Carolina Central University during the summer.
Wow. My alma mater. Oh.
There you go. and Harold was in charge of all the media and all these things. Mm-hmm. And I was helping him do some film and some other stuff because at the time I owned my own content delivery network.
Oh, wow.
And we were doing some things together. And one lady that he had called on to do some advertising during the program had a guy that was doing a sports talk show. And he got ill. So she called, reached out to her and said, hey, you do sports, of course. And he said, would you like to do it? He said, sure. So when he goes in, he goes, yeah, okay, what do I need to do? Don't worry about it. The producer takes care of everything. You just talk about sports like you do. Mm-hmm. And he says, okay, cool. And so then he turns around, he calls me, another friend of ours, Bill Murphy, and he said, hey, let's do this radio show. And I'm thinking, why?
Yeah.
Why would we do
Why not?
And then he says, well, the lady we wanted to try to sell. So I said, yeah. He said, that's her station. I said, oh, well, maybe if I do the show, she may buy some other stuff.
That's
for
right.
her.
See, that's awesome.
We did it, and she said, you guys are pretty good. Would you like to stay on because he's going to be out for a couple of weeks? Mm-hmm. Okay. So
what an opportunity.
And after that couple of weeks, she says, would you like your own show?
Yeah,
absolutely want our own show.
Yes.
That is way cool.
And then that's how it started.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. And I asked for a reason. I asked because, like you mentioned earlier, you are 2 African American men that own businesses and you host this show.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so you took that idea, you took that opportunity, and you did not sleep on it.
Right.
A lot of people, unfortunately, nowadays do that.
Right.
Because they see the idea, but then something happens, and then they let life get in the way, and then the idea goes pop.
Exactly.
Right.
And so I said that specifically, to motivate people, to say, hey, if you have that idea, if you have that, whatever that comes to you, and you have the opportunity, take it. Mm-hmm. Don't sleep on it, because who knows if the opportunity will come back.
Right.
Right.
So that's the exact same reason why I asked, because another part of our show is we want to motivate people, we want to enlighten people and educate people to say, hey, when these opportunities come, take it. Go ahead. Like, don't sleep on it.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's the really cool story.
Yeah.
And so now with the sports shop, who decides the content? Like, who decides, hey, tomorrow we're going to talk about this, and today we're going to talk about that, and next week we're going to talk about that?
So everything that happens on the sports shop, we're responsible for.
Okay.
So from what we talk about day to day, what guests we bring on, what co-hosts we bring on, what music we want to play, what social media needs to look like,
Awesome.
What advertisers we take on or don't take on. I know that sounds crazy, but sometimes it's not a good fit.
Right.
And that's
so we're responsible for it because we own it, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
So we have to put together the guests. We reach out to the guests. We do a lot of things. So of course we have a producer. He helps us out at the station. He does a lot for us. We have a young lady now, Jasmine. She comes on now, and she's been helping us out quite a bit with some marketing, some social media, some other things. She's been a great addition to the show. So it's more of a family atmosphere. So we always keep a number of people around the show as contributors because we think it's a good feel because it represents our community.
Right.
And I think people kind of gravitate toward that type of feel.
Because it's a home. It's like home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I agree. I concur with that, definitely. And so we're actually going to go on a quick break.
Okay.
But we're going to be still in your.
They want me to come back? You want me to come back?
Of course
I'll
we
come
do.
back.
Don't go anywhere.
Okay, I'll come
If you all don't go anywhere, we're going to be right back with Oyendia TV.
Sponsored by Collective Wear, the brand of the brave.
All I ever do is cry.
Thank you all for tuning in to Oyendia TV. We are still here with our special guest, KMac from the Sports Shop Radio. KMac, before we went on a quick break, you were talking about entrepreneur.
Yes.
And so, and just taking opportunities in itself as they come, because that's how the sports shop developed.
That's right.
So, with that being said, obviously, waking up bright and early, day by day, and everything that you do is not easy.
Right.
Share with the viewers just some of the hardships that you may endure being an entrepreneur, and why do you keep motivated to do what you do?
You know, so I'm motivated for a few reasons, right? Because I think I've been blessed with life experiences to be able to share a lot of the experiences that I have. I'm actually working on a book right now about leadership, and I just call it real simple. It's leadership lessons from a young boy from Laurel, Mississippi.
Wow.
And it's basic leadership lessons, right? It's small things that you don't think about. You know, I talk about, are you an asset or you're a liability?
Okay.
How do you define yourself in each relationship, in each part of your life? Are you being an asset right now, or are you being a liability?
Right.
Sometimes it's not a bad thing to be a liability, but it is a bad thing not to recognize that is what you are, or that's what that's where you are.
Yeah, that's deep.
You don't have to stay there, but don't stay there. But don't. It's okay to be there, but don't stay there.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think we have a responsibility as a show to also give back. And you'll see, we bring in a lot of young talent. We give a lot of people opportunities that would never ever probably get an opportunity to be on a show like ours,
Right.
to be on a platform like ours, with the experience that they have.
Yep.
Because one of my biggest pet peeves is telling people you don't have any experience, right, when they're coming to you to get a job to
Right.
get experience.
Exactly.
Right.
I agree. I
So,
agree.
I've
with
seen
I think
that.
that's one of the most unfair things. I think
Yeah.
one of the things we can all do is probably find ways to say, you may not be ready for this position, but how about I give you an opportunity to volunteer, be an intern for a smaller position
Yep.
to start to build that resume and build that experience. Right?
Yep.
Just telling someone you're not ready to be a starter doesn't mean you're not ready to be
Right.
on the team.
Yep. Exactly.
That's
And
a
the
positive
best way to
message
say
right
it.
there. Positive.
Definitely
Thank you.
positive.
So
message.
so that's kind of like when you talk about being an entrepreneur, that's kind of how we view it, how we look at it, and we view it as building something that we as a community could own.
Yes.
We want everyone to feel like they've had a part in the success of the show,
Okay.
right?
That's
They've
good.
had a
That's
part in
nice.
the growth of the show.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You've seen the show grow, you've seen it evolve. We have a lot of people that's been with us since day one. I have a friend of mine that calls into the show. He and I worked together for 25 years at Verizon, MCI, right? He stumbled across the show on a Saturday morning by accident.
Wow.
That's cool.
And he called in and said, he saw me at work, the next week. He said, I heard a guy that sounds just like you. And he still calls in every day to this day.
That's
I think
awesome.
I
And
know
that's a
who
part
that
of his,
is.
that's right. It's a part of his life.
funny.
It's part of his routine now.
Yeah.
And he calls in every day. I don't ask him to do it. No one asks him to do it, and he takes it seriously and he does it every
He's
day.
very supportive.
That's awesome.
Salute to him.
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
very
So,
supportive.
it's good stuff.
That
Yeah.
is good. I love it. Positive vibes. Yes. And so, remind viewers again how they can catch the Sports Shop Radio,
Oh,
what
yes.
station, etc.
Right. So we can give you old man radio,
Oh, Mary.
99.3 and 96.5, or we can get you on the podcast at thesportshopradio.com. That's easy. You can always do that. You can follow us on all of our social media at the Sports Shop Radio, the Sports Shop 1. That's the easy one.
Because we're never ever number
2.
two.
The Sports Shop
right.
1, because we're never ever number 2. And also you can get us at WRL Sports Fan app in the iTunes and Google Play Store, or you can get us on the actual site at WRALSportsFan.com. And then you can stream the show live each and every morning, Monday through Friday. It's some of the best fun you'll ever have.
Oh, yes, indeed. Let me say goodbye.
No.
I know, right?
Say it's not so.
I know,
I'm so
right?
sorry.
But thank you all for being awesome like always and supporting us. We really appreciate you. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Collective Wear, Collective Vision, My Ride Enterprises.
Remy Zumba and you.
But hey,
What?
180 Life Productions and Moviendo Hookah.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, and of course you.
Okay, and of course you.
Yes.
That was my radio.
That was a radio joke. But this has been a fun show like always. We really appreciate it. Remember, if you want to be out hoy en dia, if you have something great to talk about, come on in. Just email us at hoyendiatv@gmail.com. hoyendiatv@gmail.com. Remy, if they want to find you, how can they find you?
Well, you could go to Zumba.com and look up Remy San Luis III, and hopefully you'll see me and we'll dance.
Yeah.
And or you could go to Mr. MR Remy 930 @gmail.com.
Perfect. If you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram via Yesse, YESSE, Rod, ROD1. You can find me on my website, YesseRodriguez.com. Facebook, Yesse Rodriguez Official. Or just simply send me a message at hoyendiatv@gmail.com, and either myself or one of my members from my team will respond and we'll get you on here. So yes, thank you for your support. Until next time.
Adios.